Disclaimer: the following program is designed to offend, provoke, and challenge your religious sensibilities. It contains content that will likely offend anyone who holds religion sacred. This is for those with thick skin or a taste for the harsh truth. If you're easily offended or cherish your religious views, please turn off now. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. You have been warned. Welcome back to Troll the Verse, where we stare unblinking into the biblical void and wonder, why does any of this make sense to anyone? Today we're diving into Genesis 4, the original murder mystery that's not so mysterious because, well, we clearly know who did it. Last time we covered Jesus' Hunger Games in Matthew 4, but now let's return to the survival show, where God plays favorites for no reason and then acts utterly gobsmacked when things spiral into homicide. You'd think the deity who invented moral codes might give a heads up on the don't murder your sibling thing, but apparently that memo got lost. This chapter is infamous for introducing the first murder in human history, randomly spawning extra humans with zero context, and offering us a divine interrogation scene so unnecessary it feels like God's audition tape for the worst detective show ever. Before we plunge into this biblical clown car, don't forget to like, comment, and share to keep Troll the Verse alive. You know how it goes. Some folks have an allergic reaction to irreverent deep dives, so every little bit of engagement helps ensure we can keep pointing out the obvious for you. All right, disclaimers aside, let's unravel this ancient family drama, one messed up scene at a time. Genesis 4, verses 1 and 2, Adam and Eve, fresh from their eviction notice in Eden, have two sons. Cain, a future farmer, and Abel, a future shepherd and victim. So, the first post-Eden births. Eve, who's now a poster child for divine punishment via painful childbirth, thanks God, kind of like thanking your executioner for the rope. Adam barely gets a mention, making us wonder if the Bible was already too busy setting up a dysfunctional sibling rivalry to care about paternal credits. Then along comes Abel, whose entire biblical career path is basically get born, raise sheep, become a footnote in the first murder. We also get their occupations. Cain is a farmer, Abel is a shepherd. No YouTube tutorials, no chalkboard lessons, no cameo from a wise old neighbor. Just, surprise, they know how to do civilization already. And yes, at this point, humanity is literally a four-person band. The next time you're worried about your family's gene pool, just remember we all started from this cornered box of monotony. Surely, with just four people, they can keep the peace, right? I mean, how do you even find time to hate your brother when you're forging agriculture from scratch? Well, unsurprisingly, this is the Bible. Conflict is a mandatory operating feature. Genesis 4, verses 3 through 5, Cain offers crops to God, Abel offers dead animals. God goes, ooh, fresh meat, and promptly ghosts Cain. Cain is not thrilled. Enter the cosmic farmer versus shepherd showdown. Cain, the firstborn of all humanity, sweats over cursed soil to produce something, anything, worthy of God's acceptance. Abel strolls over with a blood sacrifice. God leans forward in delight. Yes, yes, more dead things, please. Meanwhile, Cain's vegetables get the silent treatment. Why? No clue. God never told them he prefers barbecues over salads. There's no official manual at this point labeled how to sacrifice stuff. And it's an unspoken cosmic riddle. Wait. So if I had killed some animals, that'd be fine, but all I had were zucchini. Now I'm demonized. Cain's frustration is 100% relatable. But God says nothing, just sets the stage for sibling homicide. If this feels like watching an authority figure deliberately sabotaging a student just for shits and giggles, well, you're not alone. Genesis 4, verses 6 and 7, God notices Cain's meltdown and asks, "Why are you angry?" Then he basically says, chill out, do better next time, and watch out for this thing called sin, which I won't bother to define because teaching is overrated. So, God, in his infinite wisdom, rejects Cain's offering and then pretends to be confused when Cain is ticked off. Why are you angry? Maybe because you just stomped on his best effort without explaining anything? It's like God's trying out this new parenting approach. Gaslight and go, where you drive your kid to a meltdown, then say, why so emotional, while sipping cosmic coffee. Then comes the mention of sin, the first time that concept ever appears. Let's remember Cain's perspective. The only previous rule in existence was, don't eat that fruit, which mom and dad already messed up. So sin might as well be an alien language. Despite this, God just shrugs and says, "Sin's crouching at your door," as if he's reading a fortune cookie. Oh, and God knows Cain's going to kill Abel. He's all-knowing, after all. Yet he does nothing to intervene. That's like watching a toddler about to stick a fork in an electrical socket and deciding to film it for TikTok instead of just taking the fork away. Genesis 4, verse 8, Cain invites Abel into a field and murders him, because apparently that's simpler than a conversation. So it escalated from "God dissed my veggies" to "I have decided homicide is the answer" with shocking speed. But how does Cain even know what murder is? Nobody's died yet. Where do you learn that people just stop existing if you hit them hard enough? Was this an instinctive skill, or did God casually mention it over dinner one night? By the way, if you ever get mad enough, you can erase someone permanently. Imagine being Abel. Your brother says, "Hey, let's check out that field," and the next thing you know, you're the star of the earliest true crime story. Also, let's not forget, Cain just wiped out 25% of humanity in one swing. If God was running an experiment on how fast civilization could fall apart, well, mission accomplished. Genesis 4, verses 9 through 12. God strolls in after the blood has dried, asking, "Cain, where is your brother?" Cain responds with, "Am I my brother's babysitter?" Oh, now God cares. After sitting back and letting this whole disaster play out, he finally decides to check in, like a landlord inspecting a burnt-down building and acting surprised. "Hey, what happened here?" Cain, clearly done with the whole situation, hits him with the first recorded case of pure sarcasm in history. "Am I my brother's keeper?" Translation: "You're all-powerful, and you're asking me? Shouldn't you know?" And instead of answering, God just jumps straight to the punishment because obviously addressing the root of the issue is too much effort. Finally, God deals out the punishment. Cain is cursed to wander, presumably in isolation. It's a bit late, but okay, better than nothing. Genesis 4, verses 13 through 18, this is where we get to the really good stuff. Cain throws a pity party, complaining that his punishment is too severe. He fears whoever finds him will exact vengeance, which is super weird because we're allegedly down to 3 humans: Adam, Eve, Cain. God, in a burst of compassion, marks him so no one kills him, then boots him to the land of Nod. Cain proceeds to find a wife, build a city, and launch a dynasty. Ah, the original "I murdered someone, but the punishment is too harsh" meltdown. Cain's basically that one criminal who tells the judge, "Come on, can't you see I'm the real victim here?" But the real fun part is when Cain whines that whoever finds me will kill me. We're all blinking at the same question. Who is whoever? There are 3 other people on Earth: mom, dad, and the ghost of your brother, presumably none of whom are out roaming the countryside. If Cain's afraid of people finding him, did God create a hidden bonus population he forgot to mention? But wait, it gets even better. The land of Nod is already a named location, just sitting there, waiting for Cain, despite the Bible never mentioning anyone else existing. Who named it? Who lived there before? Was it just an empty plot of land, pre-labeled for future murderers? And then Cain's wanderer curse lasts all of 5 minutes before he decides, actually, I think I'll build a city instead. Because nothing says rootless drifter like laying the foundation for the first metropolitan hub. God's punishments, as usual, seem more like casual suggestions. Nothing screams divine judgment quite like settling down and launching the world's first real estate empire. Then Cain's wife appears out of nowhere, like a hidden Easter egg in a bad video game. We're left with so many questions. Where did all these Nodians come from? Did Adam and Eve start speed breeding an entire tribe off screen? And why is God's curse so easy to break? Either God is the biggest pushover in history, or the Bible is conveniently skipping over crucial plot details. Possibly both. Genesis 4, verses 19 through 24. Enter Lamech, one of Cain's descendants, who marries 2 women, so much for that one man, one woman rule, and casually drops that he too has killed someone. Meanwhile, his kids jumpstart entire fields of technology and culture: metalwork, music, livestock. You name it. Nothing says healthy family values like grandpa was a murderer and now I'm a murderer too. Lamech basically flexes on his wives. If my Gramps was protected after killing someone, I should be protected 77 times. Meanwhile, the text lumps in a sudden renaissance. Jabal, father of livestock breeding and tent living. Jubal, father of musical instruments. Tubal-Cain, father of blacksmithing. All this from the same bloodline that was cursed to wander. These folks wasted no time going from living under a rock to forging metal, raising livestock en masse, and composing the first top 40 hits on their homemade lyres. Talk about skipping the entire Stone Age. We're basically seeing a biblical civilization Sims on fast forward. They start out with scared wanderer and Nod, and 5 verses later, they have polygamy, advanced crafts, and apparently a stable enough society that you can brag about homicide and not get side-eyed by the neighbors. Adam and Eve have another son, Seth, because apparently replacing Abel is as simple as picking a new puppy after the old one ran away. Seth's descendants are the first to call on the name of the Lord, which begs the question, what has everyone else been doing? It's like the Bible goes. Abel is murdered, Cain is banished, Adam and Eve will just make a new one. Problem solved. We don't see them raging at God for the cosmic fiasco or publicly mourning Abel. As a quick mention, we lost that son, we made another. Better luck next time. And then the text claims Seth's line finally begins to worship God properly. So Abel's attempt at an offering that God actually liked wasn't considered worship. Cain's direct convos with God don't count either. Possibly the Bible forgot its own script, or God rebranded proper worship after the whole fiasco with the first family. Genesis 4 is like a soap opera with a script that nobody proofread. God arbitrarily prefers a bloody sacrifice over a vegan offering. Cain gets gaslit into rage by a silent, rule-free contest. Homicide ensues. God feigns surprise and curses Cain, who then shrugs it off to build a city. Mysterious people, magical lands, random wives, advanced technology, popping up like someone installed expansion packs without telling us, and murder becomes a casual pastime, with Lamech bragging about it for bonus style points. All in all, the Bible's first family sets the bar for epic dysfunction. And we're just in chapter 4. Next time, Genesis 5, the genealogy chapter, a lineup of people who supposedly lived for centuries, begetting each other like it's going out of style. A real page-turner, or maybe a cure for insomnia. Will we cover it? Possibly, if we can find enough comedic gold in genealogical data. We'll see. In the meantime, keep that dark sense of humor sharpened and your eyebrows permanently raised, because this biblical roller coaster has only just started climbing. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and if you see God ignoring your vegetables, maybe try steak. And look both ways before you follow your brother into a field.